While pressure continues to mount on Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to step aside, the Liberal leader expected to announce yet another cabinet shuffle. Joining us is our Parliament Hill correspondent Glen McGregor. And Glen, you've been watching the developments closely. What can we expect this time around?
Yeah, I think a lot of backbench Liberal MPs are going to be watching their phones very closely over the next couple of weeks, making sure the ringer's on. They don't want to miss a call from the Prime Minister's office to talk to them about possible elevation to the federal cabinet. Of course, yesterday we learned that 4 current cabinet ministers are planning to not run again in the next election, and that means they will be replaced in cabinet at some point in the near future. We don't know exactly when that's going to be, but a good bet is probably sometime either later next week or in the week or two after. And the reason for that is the Prime Minister is facing a crucial meeting with his caucus next week. Of course, we've heard these stories about this revolt brewing inside the caucus. A lot of MPs are unhappy with the way things are going. And they could read the polls and see that the party is down 20 percentage points pretty consistently for the better part of a year now. And nothing they do seems to make any inroads. So a lot of them are now pointing their fingers towards the Prime Minister. They think he's the problem and that he needs to consider resigning. There was a letter circulating within the caucus. We think there's several dozen MPs who have signed on to this, and they plan to send it to him this weekend or maybe early next week, and then also additionally confront him at the weekly caucus meeting to question him about what his plans for the leadership and make it clear how concerned they are, frankly, about losing their own jobs because if the brand doesn't do well. Those MPs who are kind of on the bubble may have won their ridings by a smaller margin in the 2021 election campaign. They're looking ahead and realizing, yes, they're probably going to be out of a job if the Prime Minister can't turn things around quickly. But the fact that there is going to be a cabinet shuffle could potentially quell some of that dissent because, of course, MPs, backbench MPs, love the idea of possibly getting into cabinet. It's a good job, pays more money than the base MP salary. They get a driver, they get an expense account, and they get a lot more profile nationally. Of course, that makes it easier for them in the next election campaign because they have a higher profile when they're running again. So we're all going to see, how the timing breaks down. So we think Trudeau will meet with his caucus on Wednesday, and then sometime after that cabinet meeting, that cabinet shuffle will be announced. It's important to note that the 4 cabinet ministers who left their jobs, they were not in really high-profile cabinet positions. Marie-Claude Bibeau, for example, who was Minister of National Revenue, which is considered sort of the least important of the cabinet posts. Basically, it's the minister who's responsible for the Canada Revenue Agency. It's not a lot of controversy in that job. It's a pretty perfunctory role. The other jobs also relatively minor. And none of the 4 who announced they're leaving have said anything bad about Justin Trudeau. In fact, 3 of them actually have spoken publicly or posted things online saying that they continue to support Justin Trudeau and they want to see him run in the next election campaign as leader. So all this kind of shaking up next week is going to be, if you're a federal politics geek like I am, Faiza, it's going to be a great time to watch and see what plays out. Really kind of the most pivotal period of time in Justin Trudeau's career since he became Prime Minister.
You say geek, I say expert. Okay, Glen McGregor in Ottawa. Thank you.
Thanks, Faiza.